3 in the morning. Somewhere in the Arabian Sea, a nuclear-powered United States Navy supercarrier is steaming through dark water at 25 knots. 5,000 sailors are asleep in coffin-sized racks stacked 3 high. Roughly 100 are not. Below the waterline, deep in a steel galley with no windows, the ship's day has already begun. Steam hisses into 80-gallon kettles. 60-pound blocks of dough are being lifted into industrial mixers. The fluorescent lights have not been turned off in 22 hours, because they will not be turned off for another 9 months. The first sailors to wake on this ship every day are the culinary specialists. By the time the rest of the crew hears reveille at 6, breakfast for 5,000 will already be in serving pans. Bacon will be coming out of the kettles in 480-pound batches. Coffee will be brewing in a pattern measured in cups served per day. That number is 20,000. This is the procedural reality of feeding a deployed U.S. Navy aircraft carrier. 4 meal periods, 22 operational hours a day, roughly 17,000 individual meals every 24 hours for 6 to 9 consecutive months. It is not heroic, it is not glamorous, but it is the thing without which the carrier cannot fight. Welcome back to the channel. What you're about to hear comes straight from Naval Supply Systems Command Standards, Ford-class supply officers, and culinary specialists who have lived it. By the time this video ends, you will understand the supply chain physics, the bakery at 4 in the morning, the mid-rats line at 0200, and the underway replenishment that brings 500,000 pounds of food across a 60-yard ocean gap without dropping a pallet. 17,000 meals a day. The figure is verified but dynamic. It depends on carrier class, operational tempo, and the air wing embarked. A Nimitz-class supercarrier, hulls CVN 68 through 77. Deploys with 5,000 to 5,680 personnel. Galleys open 22 hours a day. Output runs between 17,000 and 20,000 meals. A Gerald R. Ford-class carrier, currently CVN 78, deploys with roughly 4,500 to 4,660 personnel. Daily output runs between 14,000 and 18,000. Behind that figure are caloric standards from the Naval Supply Systems Command. 2,850 calories per day for male sailors, 2,100 for female sailors. Every 24 hours, the ship consumes 1,600 pounds of meat, 160 gallons of milk, 350 pounds of leafy greens, 30 cases of cereal, and 20,000 cups of brewed coffee. The grocery bill on the Ford runs $45,000 to $65,000 a day. Over a deployment, a single supercarrier serves between 2.5 and 4.5 million meals. The work is performed by the Culinary Specialist rate, formally established on January 15, 2004. Before that, the same job was done as mess management specialists, commissary men, stewards. The names changed. The work did not. Culinary specialists prepare every meal on every U.S. Navy ship at sea: the enlisted mess decks, the chief petty officer mess, the wardroom, and the flag mess if a strike group admiral is embarked. The Ford class carries 43 industrial ovens, capable of baking 1,200 portions simultaneously. A single breakfast can require 480 pounds of bacon cooked at once in 80-gallon steam-jacketed kettles. The scullery processes up to 8,000 plastic trays per hour. The ship generates 400,000 gallons of fresh water from seawater every day through reverse osmosis. The CS rate cannot do it alone. Junior enlisted rotate through 90-day tours as food service attendants. They are called cranks. They scrape trays. They scrub kettles. It is a rite of passage. The 2 carrier classes share the mission. They do not share the workload. On a Nimitz, moving stores from the hangar bay into the deep storerooms is done by working parties. 50 to 100 sailors form a human chain, passing heavy boxes down narrow ladders by hand. On a Ford, that chain has been replaced by 10 programmable stores elevators. A fully loaded pallet goes on at the hangar deck and strikes vertically into centralized supply storage below. Commander Carl Koch, supply officer aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford, has worked on both classes. He calls the elevators a tremendous leap forward in capability and says he could not imagine going back. Inside every supercarrier, there is a bakery. It runs at all hours. Flour stores compactly. Pre-baked bread does not. The smell of yeast circulating through the ventilation at 4 in the morning is one of the few things on a deployed ship that resembles home. A standard day shift produces 120 loaves an hour for 12 hours, roughly 1,400 loaves before lunch is over. When the day shift ends, the night shift takes the ovens, pastries, dinner rolls, pizza dough, sheet cakes. The night baker fuels mid-rats. The midnight rations served to the night ops crew, the reactor watches, and the aircraft maintainers working under red light on the flight deck. The Navy tested a shore-based system called the bread bot, 10 loaves an hour, 230 over a 23-hour cycle, 1 sailor loading mixes. It has not replaced the CS baker. Bread is not a commodity at sea. Bread is a tether to land. The U.S. Navy has understood for more than a century that the menu is a morale system. In 1914, the Navy issued General Order No. 99, banning alcohol aboard naval vessels. By the Second World War, ice cream had become the substitute. The Navy commissioned concrete-hulled ice cream barges in the Pacific, $1 million apiece, 500 gallons per shift, roughly 5 tons a day. The modern supercarrier carries that legacy. Soft-serve machines run continuously. Frozen dessert reserves are calculated against deployment length. They are not luxury items. They are operational equipment. The Navy uses a 21-day repeating menu cycle on the standard core menu. Most ships run a port and starboard watch. The odd cycle ensures any given watch will not eat the same meal at the same hour every shift. Within that cycle, Sunday brunch, made-to-order omelet stations, prime rib, Taco Tuesday, Steel Beach picnics on the flight deck under open sky. And there is always coffee, 20,000 cups every 24 hours. A failure in coffee supply is treated as an all-hands emergency. No carrier, regardless of its nuclear propulsion, can sustain itself indefinitely from its own holds. Every 7 to 10 days, the carrier rendezvous with the Military Sealift Command's Combat Logistics Force. Dry stores come from Lewis and Clark class TAKE ships, fuel from Henry J. Kaiser class TAO oilers, or supply class TAOE fast combat support ships. The procedure is underway replenishment, UNREP. A single replenishment transfers between 400,000 and 700,000 pounds of provisions. The technique is the standard tensioned replenishment alongside method. Stream. 2 ships displacing a combined 140,000 tons. Steam side by side at 12 to 16 knots, 60 to 80 yards apart. A shot line is fired across the gap. A messenger line follows. A heavy steel high line and span wire follow that. A high-pressure ram tensioner compensates instantly for the pitch and roll of both vessels. Pallets ride a trolley along the wire. In Sea State 3, the rig handles 10,000-pound loads. In Sea State 5, that drops to 5,700. Above that, the kinetic energy can tear the receiving king posts off the deck. If anything goes wrong, the procedure is emergency breakaway. Cargo lines severed. Both ships maneuver violently apart. For priority cargo, helicopters take over. Sling loads cross flight deck to flight deck. That is vertical replenishment. VertRep. Once provisions are aboard, they are tracked with ruthless precision. The Master Food Code list is NAVSUP Form 1059. Every can, every bag of flour, every block of frozen protein is logged against daily acceptability factors and projected sustainment days remaining. The standard endurance metric is 90 days. The Ford holds 70 days of deep frozen provisions at -10 degrees Fahrenheit. Food and refrigeration cannot touch the deck. It must be stored 6 inches off the floor on 4-inch plastic pallets. Air must circulate underneath. The supply officer projects the date the high-preference fresh items, leafy greens, dairy, fresh fruit, will run out. After that, the menu defaults to shelf-stable. Frozen, canned, dense. The crew can taste the difference. Inside the galley, there is no daylight cycle. There is only the air plan. 0300. The first culinary specialists arrive on station while the crew sleeps. Culinary specialist 2nd Class Roel Caballero described the schedule. We're up by 3 a.m. to start preparing breakfast to be served by 6 a.m. 0600. Réveillé breakfast. 1100 to 1300. Lunch. Flight deck personnel rotate down between launches in sweat-soaked colored jerseys. Yellow, purple, green, red. The line is optimized to process 1 sailor every 15 seconds, 1700 to 1900. Dinner, the largest seated meal. The mood of the next 12 hours rides on whether it is surf and turf or another rotation of chicken. 2200 to 0200, mid-rats. The mess deck is quiet. Reactor watches from engineering. Aircraft maintainers off the flight deck. Heavy starches. Pizza dough from the night baker. Fuel for the dark hours. And then it is 0300 again. The mess deck is the heart of the ship. It is the one space where rank structure softens. A junior sailor can sit a few feet from a senior chief without protocol. A former sailor described how his commanding officer ranked crew morale. The skipper would stop in, he said, and remind us that mail was the #1 morale on the ship. Food was #2. No mail today, men. So make sure it's great. During the Ford's 241-day extended deployment in 2023 and 2024, sailors missed births, funerals, their children's first steps. The Navy said the sailors of the Ford continued to demonstrate resilience, professionalism, and sustained morale while serving far from home. Behind that statement was the Galley, running, through everything, 18 years old, working a kettle of bacon at 3 in the morning, scrubbing trays for 90 days, hauling a pallet across a hangar bay. These are not the photographs that come home from a deployment. Nobody puts the bakery night shift on a recruitment poster. But across every deployment, somebody made the meal happen. Somebody fed 5,000 sailors so the air wing could fly, the engineers could keep the reactors hot, and the bridge could keep the ship moving. The names blur. The work does not. Somewhere right now, on the Eisenhower, the Reagan, the Lincoln, the Vinson, the Ford, a culinary specialist is loading a kettle. A baker is shaping rolls. A junior crank is scraping a tray. You mattered. You served. We remember. And then carry on. Before you go, if this procedural look at how the Navy actually runs is the deep dive you want more of, hit subscribe and join the fleet. Drop a blue heart for every culinary specialist, every supply officer, every junior crank who fed the fleet. We will be back tomorrow.